Hey there friends, welcome back to another Legally Armed America video. I'm of course Paul Glasgow here, the one and only Truth Pimp. Today's going to be a somewhat short video as we honor the fallen soldiers for Memorial Day. And by the way, happy Memorial Day for anybody who's out there. I know this is not a holiday to celebrate active duty or veterans, but I still want to tip my hat to you guys out there because that's a sacrifice that a lot of people, including myself, have not made. So I know that Memorial Day is not about y'all, but I still want to recognize you guys. But more importantly, those fallen soldiers. Every year I try to pick out and single out someone who either hasn't gotten the right amount of credit for what they've done in losing their lives in battle to defend our country, or at least shine a light on somebody who probably really deserves it. And I think it was Pat Tillman last year or the year before, and I forget. This is my third year in a row doing it. This year, I want to point something out that's pretty special. It's a Lieutenant Fox, and his story is pretty remarkable. I found this short video clip here. It's about a 2 or 3 minute video clip talking about a specific battle in Italy where the house was being overrun where Lieutenant Fox was, and he actually ordered an airstrike on himself, knowing that if he didn't do that, and knowing he would likely die, but knowing if he didn't do that, that the Germans would overrun the area that they were in because they were right there, hundreds and hundreds of German troops. So he felt like this was the only way to slow them down so that the American troops could regroup in order to fight them off, which they in fact ended up doing. Here's the video.
John Fox was born in Cincinnati, Ohio on May 18, 1915. He attended Wilberforce University, participating in ROTC and graduating with a commission as a second lieutenant in the United States Army in 1940. When he got out of college, Fox joined the U.S. Army's 366th Infantry Regiment of the 92nd Infantry Division. This was the U.S. Army's only all-black regiment, and they called themselves the Buffalo Soldiers. When the United States entered World War II, Fox and his fellow soldiers were sent to Europe to help in the fight against fascism. By all accounts, John Fox was a model infantryman and soldier as his division fought throughout Italy. During one particular mission, Fox was part of a small forward observer party that volunteered to stay behind in the Italian village of Somocolonia in the Serchio River Valley. American forces had been forced to withdraw from the village after it had been overrun by the Nazi army. From his position on the second floor of a house, John Fox directed defensive artillery fire. German soldiers were attacking in strength, greatly outnumbering the handful of American soldiers. Fox radioed the artillery to bring its fire closer to his position. As the attack continued, he ordered the fire directed onto his own position. The soldier who received the message was stunned, as there was very little chance that Fox would survive the impact. Fox simply replied, "Fire it." John Fox's sacrifice gained time for the U.S. forces to organize a counterattack and retake the village of Somocolonia. When the U.S. forces finally drove back the Nazi divisions and won back the village, among the many bodies of German and Austrian soldiers, there was one American body among the carnage. Fox was 29 years old when he called artillery fire on his own position the day after Christmas in 1944, which he was posthumously awarded the Distinguished Service Cross for in 1982. After the war, the citizens of Somocolonia erected a monument to 9 men who were killed during the artillery barrage, 8 Italian soldiers and Lieutenant Fox. For his gallant and courageous actions at the supreme sacrifice of his own life, Fox was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor from President Bill Clinton in a White House ceremony on January 13, 1997. This medal celebrates all that a true hero demonstrates: extraordinary courage, compassion, and sacrifice. And Lieutenant John R. Fox was the epitome of these virtues, making the ultimate sacrifice in the service of others.
What a feat of bravery, unselfishness, right? You certainly don't see stuff like that in today's day and time with as selfish as most people are. It's all about me, me, me. What a remarkable thing for Lieutenant Fox to have done. I have to repeat the whole, would you ever see this in this lifetime, like a current, present day? I mean, look at, this was a 29-year-old man that went to college got out of college and joined the military so he could fight to protect this country, the freedoms that we have here in America. And let's be honest, back then in the early to mid 40s, he was a black man and they were not treated especially well at that time. So this dude still saw the value in this country and chose, instead of pursuing a professional career or whatever, to enter the military and fight. So I think the way it all went down, now I know technology has changed and these circumstances would not be exactly the same today. But, and I know we have great military people out there, but you take the average young person, there's 29-year-olds that still live in their parents' basements who are able-bodied and able-minded and could go out and get a job, and they don't. This was a 29-year-old man who did this. There's feats like this, if you dig deep enough, all over in previous wars that we've had. World War I, II, Korea, Vietnam. I mean, there's tons of historic events like this. If you dig deep enough and if you like history, I encourage you guys to do it because you'll find a lot of very interesting stories like that. It's a shame that we didn't have the level of media that we have today back then, because you'd have so much more documented efforts of cases like Lieutenant Fox like this. Obviously, everybody has a phone and a camera today, so you're going to see all kinds of stuff discussed now, where back then it was a rarity because you just didn't have that type of coverage. So I think it's important on days like today that we tip our hats to people like that who were very unselfish and did things for the betterment of the country and his other men that he served with. That was a sense of, to me, unselfishness that you just don't see very often, to do that, knowing that he was going to perish with that direct hit. In fact, the story doesn't mention it, but he was radioing in barrages of artillery that weren't on the house where he was earlier. And the Germans kept getting closer. In other words, the artillery, because they were estimating the distance away that the Germans were from the house, they were inaccurate. They weren't getting close enough to stop or thwart the Germans from proceeding onto the house. And he knew that the only way, the Germans were right outside the house, right? He knew the only way was to give the exact coordinates of where he actually was. And that's whenever those airstrikes actually became effective. So pretty selfless, if you ask me. Guys, have a great Memorial Day weekend. Please remember those who have fallen to protect this country and the freedoms that we have. I know that we feel like on a regular basis, because they are taken from us, we have freedoms that the government does all they can to infringe upon our rights, not just the Second Amendment, but so many of the other amendments out there. And the Constitution is being crapped on a regular basis. And I think days like today, when we can recognize people who fought for the true meaning of the United States of America, is important. So hope you guys have a great day. And again, hat tip to all the families out there who have lost people in war.